This is going to be a bit of a controversial take, but I think that those girls that you see on TikTok dancing in their pajamas, or of those that do OnlyFans, are actually pretty smart. I mean, just think about it. They are earning a ton of money simply for doing what they are doing. You could be spending your entire youth studying for a doctorate, and even after you have graduated, you'll be spending the next decade paying off your tuition fees. Meanwhile, that random TikTok girl just needs to wear her little sister's clothes, dance to a couple of degenerate music, and she could earn way more than what your parents could. Yes, I'm well aware of the drawbacks of what they are doing, and the social moralistic view on it, which I won't be going into detail as that will be another separate topic. But the main point that you must know about is this: use your unfair advantage. An unfair advantage is something that you have that can give you an edge over others in order to succeed. Let's talk about the example that I've given just now, about those XMMs that you see online gaining a ton of popularity by showing some skin, which can pretty much translate to their earning capacity due to their reach. It's funny how the feministic population has been going nuts on the unfairness of men dominating majority of the top corporate positions. There are already a ton of discussions and studies out there that have already talked about this, that the reason for it has more to do with the personality and characteristic traits that the male gender tend to have that these positions favor, and not so much as the gender itself. In fact, I've experienced firsthand on HR of companies favoring female candidates simply because of the lack of them. I'm not discrediting any of these people, which I'm very sure they have put in a lot of effort to reach where they are, and I highly respect them. I'm just trying to bring across the fact that females are not as handicapped in how far they can progress in life in terms of achievements and earning capacity as compared to hundreds of years ago. Males tend to be more sexually driven. That's just how it is. All the females need to do is show some skin, and they'll easily get a ton of attention that they can use to earn more money, such as through affiliate marketing by being an influencer. Furthermore, you don't really need to show any skin if they are already good looking to start with. Sometimes, they don't even have to be that pretty. As long as they are a female in a male-dominated industry, they can easily gain popularity. One example is the gaming scene. They don't need to be good at a game or be super entertaining. If they are pretty, it's a done deal. Is it unfair? Candidly speaking, I do feel that way sometimes. Throughout my short time in this YouTube scene, I've met multiple small YouTubers that are in the same niche, and they have so much value to provide, but their success was not proportional to what they can give. Meanwhile, I've came across channels that I have absolutely no idea what's going on, or even what they are trying to say, and they have thousands or millions of subscribers simply because they have their hanging out. At the end of the day, I'm not so hung up on it because they are simply using their unfair advantage. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, that should be the way. All of us have our own unfair advantage, and it's not entirely about gender. I'm just using it as an example because I've been talking about this topic with a friend of mine, where he shared how his female colleague got promoted before him simply because their boss was being a total sim and completely discrediting the fact that he has achieved way more than her. Your unfair advantage could be something biological, such as being really tall, giving you a natural advantage in the modeling or sporting scene. Your height is also a huge unfair advantage in the dating scene, where multiple interviews or studies have shown that females view taller men as more attractive, even if they are facially not as handsome as their shorter male counterpart. That in itself is a huge untapped unfair advantage that many people seem to overlook. I have a 185cm friend that kept going on how he's unable to get a girlfriend. It's not because of his looks. In fact, his height allowed him to easily get the attention of those around him, but it's simply because of the way he carried himself, his lack of confidence, that made him seem like he's 150cm. If he would have believed in his unfair advantage a little more, I'm pretty sure he can crush the dating scene. However, I do admit that sometimes it's not as easy as it sounds to find out what your unfair advantages are. Physical unfair advantages are easy to spot, but most of others are innate, and it takes time to discover it. Most importantly, it requires one to make a conscious effort to look for it. Maybe your unfair advantage is your good memory, your natural talent for numbers, or something as simple as your genuine interest in something that many others don't. For example, many people work in a certain industry not because they like it, but simply because they have studied it in school. There is a very small minority of people that are actually in a certain industry because they genuinely love that topic. If you are in an electrical engineering industry, majority of people would only come in contact with things related to their profession during their work hours. However, if you are genuinely interested in everything related to electrical engineering, you would spend every waking moment, including your free time before and after work, to learn more about it, and that naturally became your unfair advantage that can help you to progress way further than the majority. We often mistake our unfair advantages to be something that others recognize, or something that you have done well in school. However, it can be something as simple as your interests and hobbies, and this ties in closely with how people has been talking about chasing your passion. That's because your passion for something is an unfair advantage. Your genuine interest in something is a natural motivator to work on something longer than the rest, and we all know that if we invest more time into something, the higher the chance for us to be better at it as compared to others. I may not be the best in creating videos for YouTube, but my genuine interest in sharing stories and putting it together into a video that can be shared with others is a natural motivator that helps me to work on this interest of mine longer than the average creator. Who knows, maybe in a couple more months or years, the reward that comes from it can finally come true. Going back to the very first example on girls dancing on TikTok or doing OnlyFans, they are pretty smart in the sense that they are using their unfair advantage, which allowed them to gain massive attention from the male community. That's just just the kind of world that we live in, and there's no point in complaining about such unfairness. Your only solution to that is to find your own unfair advantage.